In restaurant talk, back of the house is the kitchen area where the chefs use their skills and talents to bring their creations to the waiting diners. Each week, we visit a restaurant and go to the back of the house to meet some of the talented people that are a part of our Lake County community. Our host is Valerie Hart, who for 35 years has been a food writer, restaurant critic, culinary teacher, and cookbook author. Let's join her now as we enter the wonderful world of creativity in the kitchens of Lake County to explore the back of the house.
We have just discovered a not-so-little gem in Lady Lake. We are Texas Stockyard. You're a real Texan.
Yes.
I mean, an authentic Texan.
Well, not authentic, but pretty close.
Even
I
the hat.
spent many years there.
And you're from outside Houston.
Yeah, just outside of Houston.
Texas Stockyards. You're so interesting, and the restaurant is so good, and you've just opened up a couple of months ago, and I don't know what to say about you first, except I'm glad to be here. Thank you for letting us in.
I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
And I'm smelling. What is this?
This is our mop sauce. It is basically, this is an authentic mop sauce that we use in Texas to marinate our meat during the cooking process. If you've watched any of the barbecue challenges and different things like that, it's kind of the signature of any barbecue person because it's some hidden ingredients in there to make our things taste a little different than most.
Wait. Ingredients. I'm not going to make it anyway. You may as well tell me.
Well, it's basically a fruit and vegetable mop sauce. We use everything from orange juice to pineapple to tomato sauce to Worcestershire sauce and vinegar.
It has a zing in it. What's this? I can smell it.
The zing is probably more of like your peppers and stuff like that. And we have a few of those key things. And
you whip all that up here.
Oh, yeah. And
conjure it up.
Right. It's got some bay leaf and garlic and those kind of things in it, too.
It's got everything good in it. Wait, pick it up again.
A lot of unique flavors.
Okay, now what is mop? I mean, why is this different than other barbecues?
Well, I think most people, when they barbecue, one of the things that we do different too in Texas is we use an indirect heat with smoke to cook all our meats, and we take the time and the patience to cook a brisket or a pork butt or a shoulder or anything like that. The meat that's on this pit right now has been on there since 9 o'clock last night. It takes anywhere from 16 to 20 hours to cook. And
this looks like just a regular, but we were out in the back before, and it's huge. What you've got piles of wood out there, and
yeah.
Do you cook on wood? Is that
yeah,
it?
we only use wood. We do not introduce our meat to any other items. I mean, we don't introduce it to electric or gas or wood chips or anything else. We actually use real wood to do all our cooking with. I mean, none of our meat is introduced to anything but this pit. So if anything that we cook inside of our restaurant comes out of this pit completely. It is not cooked on any other device.
Right, now, could we take a look at what's inside
Sure.
here? Well, wait a minute, I'm going to back up, because we opened it up before and I
afraid
melted.
of a little smoke, yeah.
Okay.
Actually, we've had a lot of vac for a little bit, so there shouldn't be a whole lot of smoke.
Oh,
Actually,
no,
we hit it right
it's
on
much
the money.
better. Yes.
We've got it right there. We've got 2 pork butts and a brisket right there. And with this pit here, it actually is a rotisserie. So the temperature, and this is really key in barbecue too, as you can see, we've got it set at 160 here. And we're lucky and fortunate to have this pit here because it's automated so that it actually controls our temperatures, unlike a conventional pit where you'd have to use dampeners and other devices to control your temperature. But as the meat rotates inside the pit like this, it goes through varying temperatures. As it's higher in the pit, it's at the true temperature and it drops down, and that way our meat is cooked more evenly through the process.
You lost it.
Yeah, I
it's
lost
gone.
it. It's coming back around here to us, and we'll show you how to mop a brisket real quick, and we'll pull one out.
This is actually huge, but you do a thing in Ocala, don't you? Where you?
Yeah, we do ABC liquor shows as far as their wine tasting, and we go up to there and the one in the villages we usually are.
And how many briskets do you make for an event up there at that time?
We usually take about 4 briskets with us and about 5 or 6 turkeys, and we bring some sausage with us and some of our pulled pork and stuff like that. we actually ended up being a pretty big hit up there. Sometimes it's a 45-minute wait just to get any of our food. And all the wine people are going, hey, you're supposed to be here for a wine tasting and not for barbecue.
Well,
But
you have to wash this down with something.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Or it keeps them a little bit more level instead of walking all over the place. But
ouch.
here's a brisket right here.
That's not too hot?
No, that's not too bad because it's only at about 170. But this is really what you're looking for right here. But you can see all the juices that have come off this brisket. And the reason why that it's doing this is because of the temperature, because the temperature isn't drawing all the moisture out of it. It's letting all the fat and everything break down during the cooking process, and that's why you still see some juice here.
All right, now has that been mopped before?
It's been mopped a couple times already this morning.
Is there a dry rub on there also?
Yes, there is a dry rub that has been placed on there, and we usually put a dry rub and we let it at least sit for at least 2 to 3 hours before we actually put it onto the pit.
Some of the dry rubs are too strong in some of the barbecue places.
Well, what we actually did was we worked with a spice company over in Houston because we have another restaurant, and that's where it actually all started was. And we work with several different rubs to come up with the correct rub.
Stockyards. Okay.
Yeah, to actually come up with a true award-winning rub, and we actually keep it in the spice company so that nobody learns all the secret ingredients that we've actually put into it. So, but the other key thing on a brisket that you look for, and when they're judging them and stuff like that, is this actual bark that you see out here on the outside edge, that dark color. And so
now this is ready to be cut and served?
This brisket's probably still got probably another couple hours, to be honest with you.
Okay, let's put it back in.
Yeah, we need to put that one
Put it
back
back
in. But while we're here, we'll go ahead and we'll mop the meat that we have here. While we're here, let's go ahead and pull out one of the pork shoulders too.
Oh, that's a pretty.
Yeah, and so there's one of our pork butts
that's
too.
pretty.
Again, you know, we cooked this. This has been in there since 9 o'clock last night, and it's starting to. You can see it's starting to get pretty soft, but it's still got a few more hours to get to go to before it gets to the finish point for us. But what we do is we come in here, and during the morning, somebody's here usually by 5 or 6 in the morning, and we go through several processes of mopping the meat to keep.
And that really is a mop.
Yes, it really is a mop.
Where do I purchase one of those?
You can get them online at the barbecue different supply houses. Actually, you probably could get one of these at Bed Bath & Beyond too, I have a feeling.
Could I purchase your sauce if I wanted to make
the
my
mop
own?
sauce we have not got for sale right now. We're considering it, but all our barbecue sauces and our seasonings are for sale.
Okay.
And we'll go ahead and put this
It's
brisket
a lovely
back
one.
on here. And this pit, most nights will have over 1,000 pounds of meat on it, because we can fit up to 1,000 pounds on this one pit.
Fantastic.
So,
okay, we have our ribs out here now, and this is your specialty also.
very much so.
Is this a St. Louis rib? What is this?
Actually, this is a spare rib, and we actually work with a company called Seaboard Ribs. And when we came over here to Florida, they actually didn't know what the company was, and we worked with one of our vendors to bring this in. And right now, as far as I know, we're the only restaurant in Florida that is actually using this brand of rib.
So they send this in from Texas?
Well, it comes from a meat packing company outside of Texas, but they actually have a farm of their own, and it's the way they actually raise the pigs and stuff like that, and the way they trim them. It actually is a much more meaty rib.
And it looks leaner.
Yeah, a lot more leaner, not a lot of fat. It yields a lot of good
But are they
product.
as tender?
Very tender. Actually, if you really look up and you look at what a spare rib is, I know most people know what a baby back from advertising and all the different people that have done it in the chain restaurants. But actually, a spare rib cooked properly is much more tender and much more fulfilling and flavorful because of where the cut is actually, on the rib itself. And when we sell a whole rack of ribs, I mean, you're getting 2.5 pounds of meat. Unlike a baby back rib, you may only get a pound of meat. So yeah, you get a lot more meat off of it.
So now you're going to rub these?
Yeah, we actually have 2 kinds of ribs that we do. We do actually a true Texas rib with a dry and spicy rub, which is right here. It has a little bit more bite to it. And what we do, again, is we actually just layer the back real lightly and rub it.
Looks like a lot of cayenne.
Yeah, it's got a lot of spice in it. We actually have reduced the salt content in it a little bit because the salt was actually breaking down the spices a little bit on us, and we weren't getting quite the flavor we want out of them. So you do the backs first, and then you do the front. And again, everything that we do, you actually rub it and you push it in there, and you make sure that it's actually in the meat, so that it's part of the flavor of the meat when you're completed.
And I want to interject something. You are not wearing gloves, and in fact, you have been told not to wear gloves because of your washing your hands constantly as you do is actually better than the gloves.
Exactly. I mean, if you go through any of your management courses and you actually learn and you understand about bacteria and cross-contamination and things, when you wear gloves, people have a misconception that you're actually separating your hand from the food, which is true. But when you reach into the box to grab a glove, your hand's already contaminated
if
you
you
did
don't
not
wash
it.
your hands in
Now,
between.
if you washed your hand prior to doing that,
yes,
then it would be fine. But in most cases, when you wash your hand and try to put on a glove, guess what? The glove breaks. So now you're back to point one. Anyhow, you might as well have just not wore the glove.
Well, yeah, it's how you do it in between.
We typically we do wear gloves in our cutting areas because of the amount of grease, so that we don't slip on the knives and stuff like that for more of a safety reason than an actual health reason. But these are our dry and spicy ribs. These ribs would be put in our smoker like this. They are introduced to smoke immediately. They sit in the actual chamber for about 3 to 3.5 hours. And then what we do to come back and really give them that nice tenderness is we actually wrap them in aluminum foil.
Oh.
And then what we do is that actual steam and what the flavors are in there are actually stay inside that aluminum foil during the cooking process, and it actually tenderizes the ribs at the end for it. Now we actually do a wet rib, which Sean's going to bring us in 3 more ribs here to show you. And I'm actually going to put the ribs down here below us real quick so I can show you, bring some aluminum foil. We actually start our wet rib in aluminum foil to tenderize it. And we use our mop sauce that we make, that we discussed a little while ago. And we actually ladle it right across the rib.
I like the sweetness of the rib.
It is, this rib here is extremely sweet.
I love it, with just a zing.
Right, yeah, this is, I would call this more of a northern rib. Now what we do, like I said, we introduce it with some brown sugar.
Wow. Oh yeah.
And then this is the secret right here.
What is
it?
it?
But if you actually come,
what is it?
it's cinnamon.
Oh,
If you actually come, you'll actually know what it is. But you think cinnamon's crazy, but really it actually ends up adding a really, really nice flavor to the meat. But what we do then is we actually wrap the rib up.
You know, in the olden days, butcher shops put cinnamon on their floor so that the meat wouldn't, so the place wouldn't have a meaty smell.
Oh,
so the cinnamon would take away that bad meat smell from old butcher shops.
Then we would actually place this on the pit, which we won't open up because of the smoke. But then this would cook 3 to 3.5 hours. And how we actually tell if the rib is done or not in this process is we'll open it back up. And if you look down here at the end of the rib, right here, you'll actually see it pulling back from the bone, and you'll see about, maybe 1/4 of an inch where it's pulled back from the bone, and you'll know the meat is complete.
Now how long did you say this takes again?
That takes about 3 to 3.5 hours at 190 degrees to do that.
Okay, let's put it in.
And then after we're done with that, when we take it back out, we actually mop it, not with our mop sauce again, we actually mop it with our original barbecue sauce, and then introduce smoke back to it, and the smoke actually injects into our barbecue sauce and on the top layer, so you still get to enjoy that smoky flavor, but with that sweet rib and that tenderness in it, instead of that dry.
You're good.
So what we would do is we'd take it, as you can see, the smoke coming out. Sometimes it's a little easier to get in than not, but just put it there on the rack, and 3.5 hours later, we can open that up and go put our barbecue sauce on and go from there.
All right, now, this is your signature. This is what I order.
It's definitely pretty unique.
All right, you have to tell me, though, because you stuff this pork loin.
Yes, we actually do. We stuff it with Boudin, which most people don't know exactly what Boudin is, but it's actually a Louisiana sausage that they do. And
is it like an andouille?
Yeah, sort of, but this is, we actually use a Boudin that's actually made from our sausage company in Texas. And so they focus a little bit more on the sausage than the actual the Louisiana style. and it's a rice sausage mixture with some seasoning and stuff like that in it. But it has it's got a really unique flavor, but it's more of a sausage-based boudin than what most people would think.
All right, now these are beautiful pork loins. So, but if I'm going to do this at home, which I have done with other things, show how you do that whole inside.
A lot of people will actually cut a loin in half and then take back and use twine to twine it all. Yeah, and it's just a really hard process. We do it a couple different ways. I mean, we've got good enough now with a knife that we can actually come in and we actually slice inside the pork loin and go in on each side, and then we twist it and then come back out and then go back in again.
So you don't actually have to remove the meat.
No,
you can just loosen it.
Right.
Okay.
You could actually, if you really want to do something really unique and you want to core it out, you can actually use a copper pipe and go ahead and sterilize it ahead of time. But you can take a copper pipe and actually bore down through your meat and actually cause that same effect. But you do lose a little bit of your meat when you do.
All right, so a good boning knife would do it.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing is, just when you're cutting, just be careful, because a lot of times you don't stay straight and you'll come out the bottom. So, and trust me, even as many times that I've done it, I seem to end out the bottom about 50% of the time too. So.
Okay, so now you're going to put, and your sausage is frozen. Why do you work with frozen sausage?
Because when you're trying to insert the sausage, if it was not frozen, we actually take the casing off of the sausage.
Okay.
So we remove the casing prior to putting it in there so that the casing isn't in there and actually feel like a sausage.
Okay.
When it's done, you'll actually see it looks like we actually stuffed it.
Yeah.
But we actually used a frozen sausage ahead of time and took the casing off of it. What we do is we actually use cream cheese. And we go ahead and we put cream cheese in, and we go ahead and put cream cheese all the way up in there.
Why do you put cream cheese?
It's just adds a little unique flavor to it, and plus it helps you get the sausage in without it, tearing and falling apart and everything like that. But actually, we worked with a master chef with Cisco on this project at one point in time. It was actually done with some of my friends at a wedding that we did for one of our friends, and that's where it actually started. And then we actually worked with it a little bit more with an executive chef at Cisco to actually perfect everything. But after you put the cream cheese in, you just take the sausage and you insert it up in there.
Now, the only other person I ever saw do this, it was a chef out of Chicago by the name of Louis Zathmary, and he was called to do President Reagan's inaugural dinner, one of them, and he did this kind of a thing. I don't remember if he used the cream cheese, though. It's very clever.
Actually, what I do is I take a little bit of cream cheese also to finish it, and I rub on the outside of it. It'll break down as it gets there, just to give it a nice coating. And you get all that cream cheese all the way around your pork loin. Just until it gets that nice little color to it.
Instead of bacon fat or butter.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
It breaks down real nice because, again, I mean, your pork loin's going to be in there almost 6 hours of cooking. So, that cream cheese breaks down and gets inside the meat and really breaks it down, kind of like you said with the fat. Then, what we do is we actually use our original seasoning, our original barbecue seasoning, and we sprinkle it on. Again, everything in Texas has a dry rub on it somewhere along the line, it seems like. But this adds that really unique flavor. And the other thing, if you are trying this at home, the biggest thing in anything you do with barbecue, make sure when you cook your fat side is up. Because that way, all your fat as it's rendering, it will go down into your meat and keep. Instead of you having to sit there and baste it every 5 minutes, the meat is basting itself.
Okay, and it won't burn on the bottom where it doesn't have the fat?
No, because I mean, we do it in an indirect heat, so there's no way that we could burn any of our items.
Okay.
And we cook at such a low temperature that, I mean, at 160, 170, it's pretty hard to burn something, and it's on a rack, so there's not actually touching anything. So.
All right, let's put her in.
Okay. Again, better step back because there may be a little bit of smoke.
Oosh. Okay.
You get used to that after a while. That's free cologne.
Do your eyes stop tearing after a while?
Yeah, they do, and you stop choking.
Woo!
Well, this is one of our other key signature items, and I've developed a dry rub again.
What is it?
This is actually turkey.
That size is a turkey breast?
Yeah, this is a turkey breast.
I wouldn't want that guy to be chasing me.
No, I know. And when it actually comes in with the skin on it, and we actually take the skin off and everything like that to get it prepared to go into the smoker. But and we also, just to let everybody know that we do Thanksgiving meals and holiday meals for Christmas and everything else. We do the whole turkeys the same way, or you can do the turkey breast, which we do quite a few of them actually. So if you're interested, just let us know.
And this is the spice.
This is spice.
Wait, let me try to guess. Sage.
There's definitely sage in there.
Thyme.
No thyme, actually.
No thyme?
No.
Marjoram?
Yeah.
Okay. Oregano?
Yeah.
Keep going.
We got rosemary, parsley, basil, garlic, onion powder.
Oh, there's garlic in there.
Yeah. Onion powder and a little bit of salt and pepper.
Go ahead.
So
you're in my favorite booth.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you what. A lot of people that don't really like turkey, they come and try this turkey just because of these flavors here. We change them completely.
For sure, it's everything the Italians do.
Yeah, they're ready for it. But we just sprinkle it across like that, real lightly. It doesn't take real long. We don't, not a real heavy coat, but just enough to really unique the flavor. What happens is when the pit, with that smoke, this all dries out a little bit more, so it gives it a nice crust to it at the end. Oh, there's a little bit of the onion powder there that didn't quite get broke down all the way. But yeah, it's really a nice item. If you come and see us, definitely order the turkey because it's one of our unique items.
Sure, you're smelling like an Italian kitchen now.
Exactly, a little bit. But then once you do that, again,
there
into the pit we go again. And this will actually cook for about 2.5 hours. We'll wrap it to soften it up a little bit. And it comes out in about 4 hours.
I can't stand it. I've just died and gone to heaven. You'll have to excuse me. Yes. Okay, what are we? We're cobbler, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, you know, after you have great barbecue, you got to finish it with a traditional cobbler. And we have both. These just came out of the oven. This is our blackberry cobbler here, and we have our peach cobbler here.
Oh.
And the unique thing about our cobblers actually is that we use more of a bread crust than an actual hard crust, like a pie crust. You know, those cobblers you get have a little bit of hard, but we actually use a self-rising, I guess, baked material or different things like that, so that our bread actually comes up through the fruit as it bakes.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's old-fashioned Southern cooking.
That's
honey.
it, exactly. And then when you come and you actually get it at your table.
Is that for me alone?
Yes.
No.
It's all yours.
I might be able to finish it.
Our portions are always very large. I mean, yes,
Texas style.
Well, yeah, everything's bigger in Texas. But both
and
of those
what is this little fellow
This is
over here?
our banana pudding. The unique thing about our banana pudding, and this was kind of I kind of came up with this when I was over in Texas. We were looking for another dessert, but we actually do not use a banana filling. We actually use a vanilla filling, and we let the natural flavor of the banana come through. So it's a really light dessert.
It looks light.
And it's got a lot of whipped cream and different things like that, and cream cheese and all that. But it is a really flavorful dessert, but it's not overwhelming.
I might do the dessert first, and because otherwise I won't have room for it after.
Exactly.
So I might just do dessert first.
And then,
now.
Well, do you need a spoon? We got one for you. Just a traditional brownie with ice cream, and we put a little chocolate syrup on it. You know, this is more for the kids, but we still, everything that's done here at Texas Stockyards is all homemade. Nothing is pre-done prior to us touching it. Nothing comes out of a can. We do everything here on the spot, so everything is fresh.
Super. Well, the feast. Wait, show what this is, because I put this on my plate.
This is actually where we went through back there, how we were stuffed the pork loin.
Yes.
This is actually how the pork loin actually turns out. It turns out, you know, now you can see why we actually leave it frozen to leave it in there, because of the way that it's put into the...
Oh, it's tender.
Oh yeah, no, very tender. Again, that's that slow cooking process. And as you can see, you can actually see that there's a little bit of a smoke ring there with that reddish ring there too. And then on the other side,
it's wonderful,
is our turkey that we highlighted there. And as you can see there's that nice crust right there.
Oh, this is just divine.
So.
All right, now I could put a sauce on it, couldn't I?
Yeah, we have this is our sweet sauce here.
Okay.
And all our sauces.
This is serious.
Yeah, that's some serious stuff. Actually, that's a
jalapeno.
Well, it's actually got habaneros and cayenne in it too.
And this is mustard?
That's a mustard sauce, yeah.
All right, I'm going to try your sweet sauce. But what is that horribly fattening thing sitting there?
We actually make our own macaroni and cheese. This is homemade macaroni and cheese. And then we have what we call our twice baked potato casserole. We actually use our baked potatoes, and we come back in and we add all the good
One
fixings.
taste of the mac and cheese.
Okay.
That's it?
If you can. It's cheesy. But yeah, again, I mean, everything we do, we touch, even down to our coleslaws, our potato salad, they're all made traditional Texas style.
Oh, that cheese is
handmade.
wonderful. It has real flavor.
Oh yeah, no, it has a lot of flavor.
Okay, go through it.
Okay, well,
These
one of
are
the
the
other
ribs.
things, yeah, we actually right now at this time, and we do it quite often, is we do a 2 for $20 so 2 people can come in and have a meal, and you get actually a whole rack of ribs. So this is what you get for that $20, and you actually get 4 sides and 2 pieces of bread. But this is our sweet and wet ribs, where we were actually back there doing the mop sauce and the brown sugar and the cinnamon. This is actually
May I?
that rib. Yes, you may.
Just the end one, so that you can serve it and they'll never know the difference. They won't miss
we
it.
won't do that. We may send it home with you.
Oh, yes.
Got great flavor.
Oh. That's what I hoped it would taste like.
Exactly. And then, as you can tell, this is our dry and spicy where we did the dry rib. I mean, the dry rub on it. And you can see how the ribs are much more drier. It's got, if you look in here, I know it's really hard probably to see on the camera eye, but there's a nice red ring. Well, that's from that smoke and that time that it spent in the pit. And then right next to it is I consider it our world famous brisket. I mean, I don't think anybody can do brisket like me, but you know, we can always put that up to the test some days.
Spoken like a Texan.
Ah, you better believe
Yes.
it. But yeah, that is our brisket there. We also do a true Western bean.
I want to taste that. And you do your own jalapeno cheese bread?
Yes, ma'am. We actually do our own. All our breads are baked in house. We also have cornbread, which isn't displayed here, but we have a white bread, a jalapeno cheese bread. We actually take pickled jalapenos, we dry them out, and we use a sharp cheddar and Monterey Jack, and we actually
that's
knead
good.
it. You like that? We actually knead that back into the
Texas
bread
spice.
and cook it exactly. And we actually also have a wheat bread. So
It's been a treat.
I appreciate
going
you
to
guys
be a
coming.
treat.
Exactly.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you for
lots
coming.
and lots of good luck to
Okay.
you.
We hope to see everybody.
This is just a wonderful Texas barbecue place.
Thank you.
And we are in
Lady Lake.
Lady Lake on the road.
Right. Well, the road that we're on is actually, we're at 360 South Highway 27441.
Thought you'd never say it.
I know, but you led me into it.
Bye now.
But thank you.